And that's just me recording in the background. It's all good. So we are about 40 seconds away from going live here. And at the beginning here, I will be doing a little bit, I've kind of a canned intro at the beginning. I'll start out with that. And then we do have a little bit of info I'll be sharing. I'm going to pull up my screen here. I got 20 seconds. There's an event coming up soon here with the radio station. I'm going to just talk about that briefly as well to highlight all the things going on there. And so if we want to just stand by, we got 8 seconds.
All right, no worries.
Welcome to AbilityMKE Now. My name is Sue Roskoff. Here at AbilityMKE Now, we are a show all about integration, bringing people with disabilities and people that don't have a disability together, enjoying life here in the Milwaukee area. We all have different abilities, and here at AbilityMKE Now, we dive into this topic of diverse abilities. The concept of disability hits a wide range of possibilities. We could be talking about physical or mental disabilities, the deaf and hard of hearing community, blindness, chronic pain, mental health diagnosis, goals of substance use reduction, and the list goes on. We all have our own experience with disability, whether it's our own, with people we know, or with people we encounter in our daily lives. Here at AbilityMKE Now, we break down the barriers and celebrate the ability in all of us. And I do have my co-host joining us today. We've got Michael Martin Hummel. Michael is a writer, speaker, and podcaster who works to bridge the gap between disabled and able-bodied people. And so good to see you, Michael. How you doing?
Good to see you too. Did you get a haircut?
I did get a haircut.
I could tell right away.
Awesome.
I'm a little late. Sorry about that, but I had a little thing going on, and it would let me log on.
Oh
So
boy. Well, you're here now, and your timing is perfect because we're just kicking in. So excellent. Glad you are here. Well, I do want to do a quick highlight here because River West Radio has an amazing event coming up on December 20th. River West Radio's Holiday Market and Cookie Sale is coming up on Saturday, December 20th from 11 to 4 at Falcon Hall. And that's located at 801 East Clark Street. Again, Falcon Hall, 801 East Clark Street. Come and browse those local makers, artists, and small businesses. Pick up some last minute gifts and stocking stuffers while supporting community radio. Our hosts, volunteers, and friends are all baking. Oh my gosh, we got 27 varieties of homemade cookies for pre-order and for day of sales. But quantities are limited, so please order ahead so you can be sure to get what you want. Vendor tables and cookies are on sale now at riverwestradio.com, where you can apply, pre-order, and get all the details. And you know what? If you look on there, you'll see Sue's Spritz cookies on the list. So I'll be baking up a storm next weekend, getting that all ready to go. We've been doing that the last few years, and lots of fun and lots of good sales going on there. The holiday market is new this year, so please come on down and see what's all happening because it is obviously supporting this radio station and oh my gosh, getting all the good things going on. It's going to be a lot of fun. So can you think of a better way to spend your Saturday before the holidays? You get all those fun things, those unique things that you can't get anywhere else. So please come on and support this awesome radio station. So with that,
I don't know. I don't know how to bake at all.
Say that again. Oh, you don't know how to bake?
I don't know how. No.
Well, we could work on that, you know. Too bad you're not living a little closer, but through the magic of all these online tools, which, oh my gosh, speaking of online tools, you will not even believe what we're going to be learning about here today. There is so much going on in that space. We are privileged to have an amazing gentleman joining us who is the master of so many of these things. We have, oh my gosh, Daniel Sternklar is joining us today from View3D.tv. He's a visionary tech strategist dedicated to transforming businesses through innovative digital experiences. From interactive video pathways and AR business cards to educational music videos, DFY podcasts, and interactive conversational video AI assistants, we blend custom business strategies with cutting edge technologies to drive growth, boost engagement, and streamline efficiencies. I am so happy to have Daniel joining us today because he truly is the master of all things tech. Daniel, so glad you're here. How you doing?
Oh, fantastic. Thanks so much for having me.
Thrilled you're here. And I actually got sneak preview at a lot of fun things going on in your corner of the world before we started the show tonight. Do you want to give us a little more detail, a little more background on what you all do and what you love about what you do?
Well, what I really love about it is the difference we make in people's lives. We've excuse me, yeah. We have saved so many companies from closing by incorporating new technologies that help get them leads. Um, and actually, a neat experience that's very apropos for this broadcast I had a while back was we were working with a company that does books on tapes, and we put together a website for them because they were having they were having a contest um, where people would write stories and submit them, and they were going to have a winner, which they would actually produce the book on tape. And of course, I went the little extra mile and used our text to voice technology and turned all these stories basically into podcasts that people could download. And now they actually hear the stories, on their phone, iPod, and so on. And I was at a network meeting down in DC, and people were kind of showing us some things that they were doing. And I was showing this. And after I kind of concluded showing it, this guy ran up to me and he's like, Daniel, do you understand what you've done? You opened up entertainment to millions of people. And it turned out he was a lobbyist for the visually impaired.
Oh,
So
nice.
so what I thought was a really interesting perspective, frame of reference shift, if you will, about that was, something that maybe for one person is like, oh, this is kind of fun, it's kind of cool. For somebody else, it's like necessity. So I thought that was so interesting. And we've actually on our website, we have incorporated the feature that when you highlight text, the website will read itself to you. And I know a lot of people in the community, they'll have a special browser that, I think has some of that built in, but there are some
Mhm.
that may not have that or may not have the right equipment or software or whatever. So well, yeah, I guess you won't be able to hear it, but um, and also we have technology where it can be multilingual, so you can actually hear, things in different languages. And we actually had a
It's
funny story happen there too, where we were doing a video for a client, and they said, "Hey, we should do a Spanish version." And they were like, well, why? Why? We don't do anything in Mexico or Spain. It's like there's a Spanish community 3 miles from you. Yeah. And at first they didn't say yes, they didn't say no. It just sort of hung out there. Eventually they let us do it. And the punchline of that story was they got more response, engagement, and conversion of prospect to customer from the Spanish community than the English speaking community. And the other thing that was really interesting and wild, I thought, was probably like 98% of the people from the Spanish speaking world that called in, they called in English. And I thought that was really interesting. So I guess
oh,
it was they felt more spoken to because content was in their native language, or maybe they felt more respected. I'm not really sure, but I thought it was really interesting that they called in English. Um, but so that was a really interesting experience. But yeah, we incorporate lots of we're involved in so many different technologies. I mentioned to you that we do a lot of work with home automation and technologies,
mhm.
um, which I'm not sure how familiar your audience is, with things like Philips Hue lights or LifeX, or from the old days, the X10 type modules, and with Google Assistant and Echo appliances from Amazon that you can talk to and they'll talk back to you, or the Echo Show even better that has a screen. Um, where you can literally say, turn my living room lights on, or turn them blue. If you have the hue lights, you can change different colors. And once again, it's a situation where, oh, for some people it's kind of cool, but for some people that have mobility issues, not having to try to get up and walk to that light switch, for some people that's like an Olympic event. And I believe me, I
Mhm.
understand this because I know some just walking 2 feet is like a major deal, or having the wheel of a wheelchair, and run into things, and being able to just literally say, turn the lights off, or dim the lights, or turn the TV on. Or like for home theater, you can say, I want to watch a movie, and automatically the lights go off, the TV goes on, the receiver goes on, and you can have multiple things happen with one voice command. Um, all those things are really great. And maybe it's a good reminder to tell people out there. And now I have no affiliation with any of these companies, but some of them I think are still having some Black Friday sales. So if you haven't gotten into it, now's a good time. And also, if you're adverse to using either Google or Amazon, there is something called Home Assistant, which will actually control these appliances locally on your own home network. So you're not even having to talk to the cloud. And something else to keep in mind. Yeah.
All of that I find so amazing that technology it's moving forward and it's becoming practical and helpful for because I know my daughter has one of those Echo Dots, and just
Right.
the little, we haven't done much with it, but the more I look at it, the more I'm hearing about it, it's like, oh my gosh, there's a gold mine of things we could be doing with this little gadget.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's just kind of fun things, really, a little bit of efficiencies, but you're right though, there are really super practical efficiencies and necessities that it can fulfill, I'm glad that we can share that out, that these things exist, and they're not like they're all that expensive anymore. They're actually pretty decent at this point to be able to be affordable for folks to be able to try these things out.
Yeah. In fact, right now, I think it's still on sale. But the 8-inch Echo Show that has the screen,
Mm-hmm.
where you'll see things on the screen. It's like $100, or I think normally it's like 175 when it's not on sale. But also consider you could have a doorbell camera. So when the door
Oh yeah.
rings, you can actually see who's at the door on wherever you have your Echo Show at, which once again is important whether you're able-bodied or not, if you should
Yeah.
bother going to answer. And for some people, if it's just, someone trying to sell something, you don't want to get, some people to make the effort to go to the door is a big deal. And if you look and see, oh, that's just a salesperson, you won't waste your time trying to get up,
Right.
which could be, a quite a big effort. But anyway, that's some of the stuff that's out there. I mean, just to try to give you a general idea. Like I say, I don't sell this stuff; it's just out there. But just wanted to give you guys a general idea. So it's not like it's thousands of dollars or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Awesome.
anyway, yeah, and also we do things that are a bit different in how we educate people about technologies. We actually create music videos. Uh,
Really?
yeah, so like we have a music video where we have a singer singing about our interactive video technology, and it's really neat. We've been getting quite the response to it. So I mean, yeah, we've done typical blog post or even a video that shows the tech, but doing a music video is kind of outside the box, I guess, and we get a lot of response to it. It's kind of an entertaining way to get the point across. And she actually in the song describes everything that it can do. Um, so that's just another interesting approach that we take. I love mixing technology with the arts because I have a background in both areas, and so it's a lot of fun.
That does make it fun, and it keeps people's attention too, because training videos can be, not so fun. Not, they can be quite dry, they can be downright boring, and you're supposed to still retain content. Well, if you can make it fun and entertaining like that, that makes all the difference. I know that's even something I've been doing at my work, where training our students. I just this semester have started out with getting some training videos going and keeping them short, keeping them fun, and that's made a big difference for how we're all working better together. And I love what you're doing though, that you're able to make that into. I'm you got my wheels turning here. Like, how do you do that? That's amazing. So actually, Michael, go ahead.
I just wanted to comment on I really like how you're doing what you're doing because I use a wheelchair and I've been in my apartment for 7 years, and with the dark with the lights out, I still hit like the furniture and things like that. So just being able to navigate is a pain in the butt sometimes. So I like
Yeah.
what you're doing.
And these are devices that are just out there. We actually program it. In fact, I actually did something kind of fun. Is that when someone fills out one of our forms on the website, actually, I won't say which one, and they submit the info. Not only does it, the typical go to the CRM and email and all that. My Echo Show wakes up and says, "Hey, you just got a lead from this particular video," and it will say, who submitted the lead, and then it'll actually ask me if I want to call that person now. So I integrated from the cyber world to the real world.
Mm.
And
That's
also,
awesome.
I if for certain campaigns, I actually have my lights blink when someone fills out the form. So when you fill out one of the forms, you might actually be making the lights blink in my house.
I
So
love that. It's very practical. It's fun. That's kind of thing would be a perfect technology too for somebody who's hard of hearing and they aren't hearing a bell or a notifier. If the lights blink, they'll
Yeah.
know that. And
yeah,
oh,
exactly. And then, and if they're a non-hearing person, they'll see the lights blink. Oh, I better check my CRM database and see what just came in, or they'll
Yeah.
see,
right.
or if they have the Echo Show, they'll see it show up right in their Echo Show if they happen to be in front of it. But if they could be across the room, they'll see the lights blink. They'll know and they'll need to check at some point. So it's fun, doing things like that. But like I said, it's really interesting to frame of reference that sometimes something that's kind of cute and fun for one person, once again for another person, necessity.
We have
So
a Echo, and I probably don't know how much it can do. We only use it for like, hey Siri, play this music, play this
Right.
song. That's all. So
Yeah,
I'm
there are
curious to
there
see.
yeah, there are also modules you can get that you plug the module into the wall, and then like you could plug a fan into it, and then you can actually make your fan go on and off or a heater go on and off.
Hmm.
So even objects that aren't specifically have the right hardware to be remote controlled, very often there's a third party solution for it, whether it's, getting one of these power modules. Um, you can make your garage door go up and down by voice, close your blinds and open them by voice.
Interesting.
There's a lot of and the Echo Dot that you have can do all that. It's
oh,
quite expansive what you can do. There are actually several websites that you can actually go to that will list. There are like hundreds of commands you can give it of all
Oh
different
wow.
kinds. Yeah, besides playing music and getting the weather, there are many other commands that you can give. And yeah, I don't know, maybe at some point we can put some of that in the show notes or something.
Yeah,
Amazon themselves has their own list. And
all
there's
we
a
do
whole
is play music or get the weather and tell jokes.
yeah, no, those are great. But yeah, the aspect of being able to control lights and appliances, I think is, and also if you have the show, have the camera views is really fantastic. I have a bunch of cameras around here to watch my cat, and also outside. I'm in the woods. I get lots of visitors. I can see my deer coming to visit, or I have a fox den in the backyard. I have birds, bird feeders with cameras. I can see the birds, feeding away, or the raccoons visiting, and that's just a lot of fun. And so the Echo, the Echo Show to display gives you, options for all that. And of course, Google has, their product, where you can basically do the same type of thing. And there's, a bunch of other folks out there that do that too.
uh, there's I know we were saying before the show about thinking back to Star Trek and all these shows that had these futuristic kind of fun things like they're talking into their wrist. They were able to talk back to the folks, and now those kinds of technologies are, everybody's got that kind of stuff. You're walking around, you see people talking into the wrist all the time. Whereas when they first came out with these shows, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine that being a thing. So where technology is going is so awesome, and the difference it's going to make for people is amazing. So I know you actually dive in a lot with like the virtual reality type scenarios. Like I know we've been in some networking that's through um oh gosh, the metaverse. Is that the right
Right.
name for
Yeah,
that?
exactly. Yeah.
And do you want
What's
to
great
describe
about
that a
that,
little?
yeah, and what's great about that is distance. Well, of course, yeah, I guess you could argue even Zoom is doing the same thing, but basically distance is no longer a factor. It's even more pronounced in the metaverse, though, especially if you go full tilt, wearing the headset and so on, that you can literally see a person next to you, in 3D. Either their avatar, or if you have a more sophisticated setups, you can even see the real image of the person in 3D. But for most people, they'll see, just an avatar representation. Actually, our metaverse we work with, not only can you see the avatar, but you can see their camera image beside their avatar. So it's kind of like
Mhm.
having a combination of Zoom and the metaverse together. So which is kind of neat. And you can walk around them, and see their whole body. But then, the person next to you could be across the street, or they could be in Asia. Yeah, distance
Right.
no longer matters. And it's interesting because I've seen so many people saying that, oh, no, technology is separating us. I see the opposite. It's bringing us together.
Oh, I'm
Um,
with you.
I was like, without, even Zoom for that matter, but especially, the metaverse, and there's so many out there that there's sort of this whole other world that a lot of people aren't aware of. There's VR chat, and there are many metaverse systems out there that are commercial even, besides private ones. And it really brings people together. Many of them have support groups for various interests or things that people are going through, even therapy groups. I mean, it's really wild. It's really interesting. And so I really see it as bringing people together, not separating them. And also, webcam. There's a website, EarthCam. You can see webcams all over the world.
Oh
You can
wow.
see camera and real-time video from like zoos, from a camera in Africa, and watch wild animals at a watering hole. You can see Paris, in real time, Times Square, and actually you can see all this on the Echo too. Uh, we can actually run various webcam apps on the Echo, and you can actually have the if you have the Echo Show with the screen, you can actually see a real-time image of Times Square by asking for it.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
So
And
you can travel the world.
without leaving your home. And so there's no longer restrictions to what you can experience. I mean, obviously, you're not literally standing there, but you're as
Right.
close as you can be and still getting that experience. I love it.
Yeah, now if you have a VR headset, and hopefully that you have some decent vision, hopefully, you literally will feel like you're standing there because you're seeing it in 3D, and you literally can look all around you. You can look around you in
Wow.
a 360, and it's really interesting because they've also been using those type of applications for people that have like memory issues, where it's Alzheimer's or dementia.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you take a World War II veteran and have him visit, some places where he would visit, back in the day, whether it was in Germany or Europe somewhere, and suddenly his
Wow.
memories come flooding back. VR is a lot more than just games. It's great. We use it a lot for training and simulation. Um, it's a, and especially if you're training like on industrial equipment, and also industrial equipment that if you're not properly trained, you might get hurt. Um, so you can make sure and practice, or make sure you understand everything and get tested properly. But also for a company, it's great. They don't have to take that equipment out of service to train someone. They can train through the VR simulator first, and then of course, eventually get some training, on the actual equipment. But
Well, so curious then, if somebody has an idea that they want to create that kind of thing, what goes into doing that? Is that I'm trying to picture how much time and effort it takes to actually create a virtual reality situation, like for if somebody wants to train on like you're saying, like a piece of equipment. I can't wrap my head around that because I've never done that before. Is that
well, there's so many, it depends. But I mean, one thing you can do is very often equipment has CAD drawings.
Hmm.
computer design drawings or blueprints of the equipment, and you can basically take those blueprints and then extract it out to a 3D model, and then you can animate all those different pieces, and even to the point of when you're in VR, that when you press a button, this and that happens. So yeah, fun stuff. And
Very cool.
I mean,
I took CAD in high school.
yeah, exactly. Good old AutoCAD from the old days.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But all these things are great tools. And the other thing that's fantastic about the technology is, I think, those who have um maybe they've lost certain bodily functions, whether it's sight or hearing or just movement. Technology is giving them access to new ways to make a living,
Yeah.
you know, or if you're sent, if you're suffering from various, even mental illnesses, like, you're afraid to leave your home, something like that. All these technologies are ways to help you cope with that, or even get over some of those afflictions, or can help you exercise, for instance.
Right.
Um, VR is being used a lot for physical therapy, occupational therapy.
It's amazing where things are going and how far things have come, and really in such a short time. I mean, do you have any predictions of what kinds of technology you're looking forward to seeing coming down the road,
Oh, there's
hopefully
so much. I
someday?
mean, I guess something like, well, yeah, I mentioned that we do a lot of alpha testing of new tech that's on the way, sometimes even 3 to 5 years out, and plus we ourselves create new technologies. Um, Something we're playing with now that's really a lot of fun. It's been sort of talked about a little bit publicly, so I can say, is a holographic monitor. So not only,
Oh,
so it's beyond just a 3D TV, but you can actually look around things. And if you
oh my
shift your
gosh.
perspective, like if I move a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, I get a different view. It's kind of like VR in reverse. Instead of being immersed, like with the headset, you're peering into a 3D world,
That's
and it's
amazing.
and also you can do hand tracking, so I can actually manipulate objects inside that world as I look at it.
Wow.
That
So,
that and also you'll see intelligent mirrors where you can step in front of a mirror and then see how you look in different outfits.
Hmm.
And
okay,
then
that
and then
has all sorts of practical
Yeah, and
applications.
then of course, all the stores will have a buy now button, like,
Oh, of
oh,
course.
I look great in that top and shorts, buy now. Yeah, and of course AI will be used where you'll get recommendations, that for summertime, try this outfit or try that outfit. But intelligent mirrors is going to be really big. Um, so that's something I guess you're not really seeing a lot of yet, but I think there are maybe a couple companies that are close to releasing something publicly, and they might be a little pricey because the screen isn't expensive, depending on the size. But and some stores, probably will have them inside the stores, of course. Or it'll get to the point where the store will be almost empty, and you'll try things out in the mirror, and then once you order something, it'll be basically custom made for your dimensions. Because of course
Oh,
sensors can measure your dimensions exactly.
right.
So
Oh,
you'll get a fantastic fit, and then there'll be intelligent clothing that will monitor all your biological responses.
that's where things are going is just absolutely mind blowing to me. I love to hear all these fun places it's all going. I know we're coming up on the clock here, but I just want to ask what kind of take home message that you've got that you'd like to share.
Well, I
Any
mean,
last
basically
thoughts?
is learn as much about technology as you can, because it will give you a new way to make a living. Don't be afraid of it. Go and try
Yeah,
something. Try ChatGPT in the AI world. You can get free versions. The same with, Claude. Meta's got a free version. There's something called Kimi. There's so many engines out there, Perplexity. And don't
love it.
be centered on just using one. Use multiple ones. Look at it as though you have different people to talk to.
Awesome. Well, this again was Daniel Stern-Clark joining us with View3D.TV. And I am so happy that you're able to come and be with us here at Ability MKE Now.